Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Dom dari Ceras. Okay, kita tahu kan, bukan kiranya kes ni bukan seluruh Malaysia bukan ikut A-Z dan bukannya macam faham proses mahkamah apa semua kan. So pendapat general, ada yang berpendapat secara general actually logik ke orang yang umur 60 lebih sakit belakang boleh merunggul orang muda berumur 23 tahun yang sihat walafiat. So dia orang akan berpegang sebagai benda macam tu sebagai hujah. So kalau benda macam ni macam mana Tan Sri, apa pendapat Tan Sri? Dan lagi satu soalan, kalau suka, katakanlah suka sama suka, kenapa yang diliwat tu tak ada hukuman untuk dia? Itu soalan saya.
Okay, very good question. Now, satu dua fakta saya terangkan dulu. Saiful kata dia tidak rela, dia tidak rela diliwat, tetapi dia terpaksa menyerah. Okay, so the issue is dia ada dominant factor dengan subservient factor, right? Memang perkara macam ni memang berlaku. That's why you have sexual harassment at workplace. In America, it's a big thing. But because this is Anwar, it is not big in America in relation to this is actual sexual harassment at workplace. Jadi, if you take together with the issue of the KY jelly being used, there is no resistance by Saiful, sungguh dia tak rela, dia kata. The question is, can Anwar perform it? The answer is yes, because he did perform it. Then Anwar appeared after he was arrested. He was interviewed by Dr. Jayendran, who was in fact the director of KL Hospital. Very eminent physician. In the course of taking notes, and this is in the note, because Anwar's private part and everything all was examined, he asked Anwar, when was the last time you had sex with your wife? They get hardly a week ago. And the doctor went into detail, the position and all, and Anwar described it. So, for Anwar to say, very selectively, certain time he's got back problem, certain other time he doesn't have back problem. When he has sex with the wife, he doesn't have back problem. So, the issue is, does he really have a back problem? Alright? I don't know whether I've answered you clearly on that. And then, sorry, you asked me also why no action against Saiful. In 377B, it does not matter whether the person consent or not. You commit the crime, because we are a religious-based society. Whether you're a Muslim or not, you're religious-based, especially if you're a Muslim. This is a total no-no in the Islamic religion. Now, so the issue of consent does not arise. But if you do not consent, it aggravates the offence. But and if there is true consent, the case will never see the light of day, because who wants to report? Someone shocked. Why should I lodge a report? So for the fact that this boy lodged a report shows that he's got a complaint. He didn't like the way he was treated. So his word is very interesting. His sentence. Saya tidak rela, tetapi saya terpaksa menyerah. There is a case in England recently in 2013 under the new act of sexual assault, where the judge said consent in the meaning of the new act includes this, or rather the lack of consent includes this, where he gives in without resistance, but he was not really willing, but he gives in. So it is almost identical to what Saiful said. And I can tell you, Saiful did not know the law about this, because I myself discovered this 2 days ago. Because this is a 2013 decision in England. We wanted to make a comparison because of this, because of tonight. I hope I have answered that question to you.
Saya sini ada soalan tambahan sikit. Ini untuk teknikal sikit saja. Section 377B tadi, dia dalam pertuduhan tu yang memasukkan zakar dalam tubuh, masukkan zakar dalam tubuh. Jadi adakah Saiful yang diliwat as opposed to terliwat boleh dituduh? Just a technical question. Pasal Section 37B ni siapa yang memasukkan zakar dalam orang lain, dia orang lain yang diliwat as opposed to orang yang diliwat, boleh ke orang yang diliwat ni sendiri?
Okay, so that's a very good legal question. Jadi kalau kita lihat dari segi bahasa ya, amat nyata bahawa orang yang meliwat, that means the aggressor, as compared to if I use the word agresi, Saiful is the aggressor, and therefore only the aggressor becomes the subject matter. But even in normal crimes, sometimes in order to get to the principal offender, you may have to sacrifice not charging the how we call it, the abettor, if there is such a thing in this particular case. There is no abettor because the question posed is quite clear that 377B, there is no such thing as an abettor because the offence is only with respect to the aggressor putting his penis in the rectum or the anus of the victim. So even if you go the other way around, whether Saiful should be charged, the answer is no, because he clearly was a person who lodged a report. He clearly was a person who said, I was not willing to be treated this way anymore, and I want to lodge a report. So he should not be charged, because otherwise, public policy-wise, it is bad, because you are discouraging people from coming forward to lodge a complaint against an employer that has been sexually assaulting you and harassing you at work. Yes, and I want to add something. People ask why Saiful didn't escape, why he didn't shout and things like that. It's very difficult in the circumstances where he was in, because the neighbor and all that are Saiful's friend. And then when he was asked to come to the apartment, there is a code word, a password. He must mention the word Mukhtar, baru he is allowed in. And then he is guarded all the way by the neighbor next door, who is the owner of both apartments. And he was clearly under the dominance of Anwar. The question of him running away cannot arise because he was totally dominated.